that St. Louis has the best offense in college basketball, I wouldn't have a hard time doing it.
Wildcats win the tip. Your officials this evening: Bill Covington Jr., Clarence Armstrong, and Earl Walton. Pace of play for the Wildcats. They like to be more measured. How will that counterbalance the fast pace of the Billikens? Fredrickson in the paint, short on his attempt. Rebound in the hands of Brown, who kicks it up to Trey Green.
You just look how quickly they get it across half court after a rebound. Their defense doesn't get talked about enough on how important it is for their offense.
Green, an early catch and shoot, rattles out. Rebound to Ian Plateo. Davidson 5-4 in conference play. Brown in the paint, almost traveled. They're coming off a victory, 79-54 over Richmond last Saturday on the road. Here's the three, it rolls in for Brown.
You know what, but that's 3 paint touches in 2 possessions for Davidson to start this game. That was a huge key for Coach McKillop when he was talking to us over the phone. He said, we have got to be dominant getting the ball in the paint and playing off of 2 feet.
Yeah, such a good point. Really had a chance to move freely in their last offensive set there. Here's the double. Avila up top, open look for McCottry. He hits the 3 to tie it up.
Is that not St. Louis basketball? Empty side pick and roll.
Good evening from Davidson, North Carolina. It's the number 19 St. Louis Billikens riding a 15-game winning streak on the road against the Davidson Wildcats. Jordan Kent alongside Mike O'Donnell. Each teams have swapped threes. They're coming off road victories, and Robbie Avila just knocks down the second 3 of the game for the Billikens.
This is one of the best offenses in college basketball. They are absolutely crushing teams with their spacing and shooting.
Fredrickson, he's left wide open, and he's able to step up and hit the 3.
Fredrickson coming off a big game in their last performance. He has the ability to give you 20 if you give him space and time.
We're seeing a lot of double teams coming from the Wildcat defense. Corner look, off the heel, offensive rebound to Green. His pop-a shot is good.
It's amazing how good of an offensive rebounding team you can be when your spacing is good on offense and you take good shots.
The Billikens 21-1 on the season, 9-0 in the A-10. Plateo, he is fouled.
St. Louis prepares to take on Davidson.
Good evening from Davidson, North Carolina. It's the number 19 St. Louis Billikens riding a 15-game winning streak on the road against the Davidson Wildcats. Jordan Kent alongside Mike O'Donnell. Each teams have swapped threes. They're coming off road victories, and Robbie Avila just knocks down the second 3 of the game for the Billikens.
This is one of the best offenses in college basketball. They are absolutely crushing teams with their spacing and shooting.
Fredrickson, he's left wide open, and he's able to step up and hit the 3.
Fredrickson coming off a big game in their last performance. He has the ability to give you 20 if you give him space and time.
We're seeing a lot of double teams coming from the Wildcat defense. Corner look, off the heel, offensive rebound to Green. His pop-a shot is good.
It's amazing how good of an offensive rebounding team you can be when your spacing is good on offense and you take good shots.
The Billikens 21-1 on the season, 9-0 in the A-10. Plateo, he is fouled. St. Louis was ready to sprint out after that foul against Quentin Jones, his first. And you take a look at the standings, both these teams coming off conference victories. St. Louis beat Dayton 102-71 as their 7th game of the season of 100-plus points. Davidson, a 25-point victory on the road against Richmond. And Matt McKillop in his 4th season as head coach talked about paint touches and rebounding will be key, the former Wildcat. And another bucket and another paint touch for the Wildcats.
It's been every single possession for Davidson to start this game. They've gotten 2 feet in the paint and played fundamentally sound to start. A great start for Davidson.
3 of 5 from the field. St. Louis, the top field goal percentage defense in the country, allowing teams to shoot just 36%. Avila, no good on his 3. Look at the Wildcats get out and run. See right now, Scovins down low, trying to fight for positioning. Big physical guards across the map for the Billikens. Ball goes into the paint. Brown left wide open for three. Oh, cash money, and the Wildcats came to play.
And another paint touch. This is the best start that Davidson has had in Atlantic 10 play.
3 assists on 4 made field goals. The Wildcats making it look effortless on offense so far. Double on the catch. Avila in the paint. Left-handed hook. It's short. Tap 3 by Brown. Avila down low going chest to chest. The foul's going to be against Scovins. That's the first personal and first team foul for the Wildcats. And Josh Schertz, what a great conversation we had with him during shoot around, just about the beautiful game of basketball. 15-game winning streak. He talked about his team doing the invisible things in order to play well. We'll dive into that throughout this game. But right now, you look at Robbie Avila, simply put, the best passing center in all of basketball. And how about the sacrifice he's made to lead the charge for St. Louis?
Even though his numbers are down from last season, his efficiency is actually up. He's a better three-point shooter, and his points per 40 minutes are better than last season. He just doesn't have to play 36 minutes because St. Louis's depth is elite. There isn't a player for St. Louis that averages 26 minutes a game. That's how deep they are.
Brown spinning through traffic. Bit of a wild shot with the left hand. No good. McCautry leads the break. Avila trailing. Lets it fly. No good. Rebound to Brown as he fights off a couple of Billikens. Scovins in transition. Strong take to the cup.
How about a little tempo and pace in the fast break for Davidson? This is one of the slowest tempo teams in college basketball.
Looks nothing like the team we've studied on tape over the last couple of games. Bringing the fight to St. Louis out the gate. Jones spinning, no good. Rebound secured by Brown. Devin Brown, the youngster, back to Sam Brown. Pump fake, puts it on the floor, lets it fly, no good. And a foul on the floor. Plateo fighting for positioning. This one's going against McCautry, his first personal. What a start to this game. Hot shooting.
It's less about plays and more about reading the defense and reacting by staying in attack mode.
And Josh Schertz talked about his team making sure they have fun. There's a locked-in looseness that we saw during shoot-around where they're on top of all their assignments, but they're playing free and playing with confidence. And right now, Davidson not lacking any confidence. Sam Brown knocks down the midi.
Well, I think he's a huge key to this game in terms of controlling the tempo and keeping the offense consistent.
Jones in traffic. Avila quickly closed out on. Baseline pass. McCautry couldn't handle it. Brown able to save it. Whips it up top, and Jones secures it. 9 to shoot. Avila rises up over the opposition. Ball is on the floor, scooped up by the Wildcats. Checking into the game, Hunter Adam, number 12, and Sean Logan, number 15. And that's going to be a foul, and that's Jones. That's his second personal.
That's actually something that Coach Schertz talked to us about at shoot-around today. Was our ball pressure individually and one-on-one defense has to get better. We have to apply more ball pressure without fouling. It's something he said, I'm really happy with our defense, but I think that's kind of our next step, our next evolution is becoming an elite on-ball pressure defensive team.
Kellen Thames, Ishan Sharma, and Paul Otieno checking in. It's a deep team for St. Louis. Nobody really plays close to 30 minutes per game. That's because they have to play hard when they're out on the floor. And as we see, Hunter Bloom's the leading scorer for Davidson, wearing the mask at number 45. On the floor now.
That was really good help by Paul Otieno.
Brown, cat-like crossover, tough angle with the left hand, can't get it, knocked out of bounds. Wildcat ball. So far, Mike, I'm impressed with how well Davidson has been able to attack off the dribble and get into the paint.
100% agree. They're getting into the paint, or at worst, there's ball handling and driving inside the three-point line, and it's causing overhelp by St. Louis.
Blooms curling,
puts
it on the floor, rises up, and another mid-range jumper is good.
And what a great curl cut and step into a right-left shot for Roberts Blooms. Jordan, that was pure.
Davidson already 7 of 12 from the field, shooting 58%. Sharma dumps it off
beautiful.
to Otieno. What a find as he goes rumbling for the dunk. A seamless pick and roll. Otieno caught that in stride.
It was actually zoom action on the right side of the floor, and Otieno just did a nice little short roll after the DHO. That was great.
Here's Logan on the perimeter, trying to shake Otieno. Wants to bully ball down low. Otieno not giving up any ground.
Oh, wow,
Logan with the right tough angle, smooches it off the window.
You got to have great physicality and touch to make a play like that on Otieno.
This arena sits just over 4,000 people. There is great juice in the building here tonight. Turnover. Brown got his paws on it. 2-on-1 opportunity. Up ahead. Brown fouled as he goes up. And another foul whistled against the Billikens. And this one against Sharma, his first.
This is vintage St. Louis offense. This is zoom action, a down screen into a dribble handoff, but then there's that pocket pass. It's not easy to make that pass. There's a very tight window, perfectly executed by St. Louis, and an excellent catch off the short roll from Otieno.
So heading to the line, it's Devin Brown, the freshman, and you continue to look at a lot of the action we have on the floor. I mean, what else is coming to mind for you as you see this St. Louis team operate?
I think so for St. Louis defensively, what they need to fix is the one-on-one defense, because Davidson is doing an excellent job of attacking one-on-one off the bounce and drawing additional help. They're playing unselfish and they're playing purposeful. This is the best start to a Davidson first half that I've seen this season.
Well, how about this stat? Davidson is last in the A-10 in fast break points at 7.9 per game. They have 4 already. Thames caught in midair, and it's back-to-back turnovers.
And they went a 1-3-1 zone to try to confuse St. Louis.
Brown, the kick out. Logan, back to Brown. He'll let it roll. No good. Tapped loose. Rebound. That'll bounce out of bounds and be Davidson ball. Sharma thought that was off a Wildcat.
This is the first time I think I've even thought this watching St. Louis this season, as we'll get a review on this shot. I think St. Louis is getting out hustled this game.
That's how it looks like. And if you remember a couple games back, St. Louis ball, and they're able to see enough there to give them the possession, it's a successful challenge.
And they get to keep their timeout.
And I think it was obviously well worth it because you get the ball back, Mike. But especially at this point, St. Louis won for their last 6. Looking out of sorts on the road here. You have to do anything you can to get some momentum back.
So we've seen man-to-man defense for Davidson. We've seen a half-court 1-3-1, and then we also saw a little three-quarter court press right now in this possession, just trying to get St. Louis guessing. Good skip.
The shot from Dunlap is good. So coming right off the bench, Brady Dunlap, the redshirt sophomore.
He's
3 big points.
He's 10th in the Atlantic 10 in three-point shooting, just over 41% from 3. He can rip it.
St. Louis as a team shoots 41% from beyond the arc. How about the on-ball defense from McCautry? Stonewalls him. Adam in the paint, fading away. Oh, no rim necessary. What a beauty.
I mean, how smooth was that from Hunter Adam? And we're going to sound like a broken record here, Jordan, but another paint touch for Davidson.
Thames the drive, kicks it back out to McCautry. Otieno waiting for some traffic to develop. So much player movement for St. Louis. Otieno, cross-court pass. Sharma wide open in the corner. No good. Rebound secured by Blooms. This has been a precision game played by Davidson so far. Brown, his 3 too strong. McCautry, the catch, the drive, goes up with the left, sent to the floor, no whistle, tough finish.
I'm a huge fan of Amari McCautry's game. 6'6" sophomore. He is a mismatch nightmare, can guard 1 through 5 positions. Just a great attacker with the ball.
Blooms, patient with the dribble, can't get the angle though.
You're not upset with that shot at all for Davidson?
Not at all. I like how much Davidson's been attacking on the offensive end. They haven't been showing any trepidation. Meanwhile, it's St. Louis, the team on the 15-game winning streak that's looked a little sloppy here in the first half.
Bad pass by McCautry, but here he is using his body as a shield. Kind of call that a veer finish when you stick your left arm away from the defender, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Just does so much.
Devin Brown will head to the bench for the Wildcats. He's the team's leading scorer with 8. Nick Koval will come onto the floor and play points, as well as J.Q. Roberts with the ball.
Well, that was defended really well.
Blooms will shoot the ball screen. 10 to shoot. Blooms in the paint. Acrobatic take, no good. Rebound secured by Thames.
Decent amount of contact there.
Now you've seen St. Louis string together multiple stops. Thames, circus shot. Denied, but then McCautry, the immediate steal and slam.
Coach McKillop cannot believe that happened on the sideline. He is furious.
McCautry's energy the last couple of possessions has gotten St. Louis back into this game, giving them some momentum. Koval, he pipes in a tray.
The freshman, 36% from 3. That's why he's in there.
The all-time leading scorer at his high school. Another turnover. Davidson this time trying to step on the gas. Here's Blooms weaving through traffic. Up top to Roberts, too strong. Here come the Billikens back the other way. Dunlap, no hesitation. Fouled on the three-point shot, and Coach McKillop immediately calls for Scovins off the bench.
2 words for you on that one, Jordan. Scouting reports. Brady Dunlap is in the game to shoot threes, period. Doesn't want to drive, doesn't want to attack. He's got such elite form and a great release. You have to have a mindset of whoever catches the ball for St. Louis, are they a shooter or a driver? Easier said than done when there's so many shooters on the floor.
Oh, I was about to say, everybody can shoot essentially, no matter what lineup St. Louis puts on the floor. And as a defender, you want to aggressively challenge the shot, but you see Dunlap has one of those releases in transition where he lands forward just a little bit. Misses the second free throw. Tomorrow at 2 Eastern, CBS Sports HQ Spotlight keeps you up to date on all the top stories with highlights and in-depth analysis right here on CBS Sports Network. How did you land on your threes? Were you straight up and down, or did you have a little bit of forward momentum?
No, just a pinch of a fade.
Pinch of a fade, huh?
Pinch of a fade. Well, when you're 5'10" on a good day, you got to create as much space as possible. Once again, you set myself up for another short joke, so thank you for that, Jordan.
Hey, you drove the car there yourself. 5-point lead here for Davidson. St. Louis trailed by as many as 9. They've now tightened the clamps defensively. Fredrickson, pocket pass. Scoville back outside. Adam on the baseline, patrolling. Adam still pounding the rock, nearly lost it. Koval. Fredrickson, open look, 3-ball corner pockets.
39% from 3, and a good execution of drawing multiple Billikens defenders for a kick out for 3.
Here's Avila back in the game. Flips it over to Green. They quickly smother him defensively. Brown, baseline drive. Draws 2, somehow whips it in between.
A transfer from Boston College, averaging 11 a game, is just one of the toughest guys on the roster for St. Louis.
Roberts will reset it up top. Roberts trying to challenge Avila, quickly cut off. Roberts gets around Avila and fouled as he goes up. I tell you what, as Avila picks up the foul, this Davidson team, one-on-one, they are looking to attack whenever they have some space, it seems like.
Well, I think the word that comes to mind is fearless. They are playing very simple, clean basketball. The draw in Trey Green to overhelp, kick out for the 3. And here's Brown with the ball fake. Tough, nifty finish with the left. But there is a fearlessness to this Davidson game plan. There's crisp ball movement, there's good spacing, and there is a real identity in this start of this first half to attack aggressively the paint, and it's worked like a charm.
J.Q. Roberts, the junior, spent his last 2 years at Vanderbilt, was the number 4 player in Indiana coming out of high school. And you just see the energy, effort, and hustle, no matter who Davidson brings in. This is a very deep team. They've already played 9 players in this game. As we mentioned, 9 players average 15-plus minutes per game. Robert splits a pair. The lead is 7 for Davidson. Here's Brown trying to muscle his way in the paint. Otieno has it poked away, but a late whistle comes in. The student section losing their mind over it. Fouls on Fredrickson. His first. Great game brewing here in Davidson. The home team Wildcats.
Davidson's doing it all right now to start this first half.
Just one turnover for the Wildcats so far. The Billikens with 4. And you've seen them switch up defenses on several possessions as well. Question is, when will Green start to get going for St. Louis? Dunlap over the top. Avila can't handle the pass. Turnover number 5.
What a great point from you, Jordan. Trey Green, number 3 for St. Louis, is one of the best three-point shooters in the country. Avila trying to go high-low, just threw it a little off kilter. He's been pretty frustrated with the rest of this game. That's the 3rd time that he's gone to the refs to complain.
In Plateo checks back in for Davidson. Here comes the press from the Billikens. But you go back to the poise, not panic. The ferocious approach so far from the Wildcats on offense, it can't be overstated. They just look so aggressive and in attack mode. Fredrickson curling, casting, can't get it. Scovins wrestles away the rebound. Here's Scovins, wants to try and move some furniture short on the baby hook. Otieno with the board.
Yeah, that's a low percentage shot. That was great defense in the post by Otieno.
It's challenging for Davidson. They almost have to find their spots to be patient. Here is Green. The local kid from here in North Carolina cashes in on his first tray and makes it a 4-point game.
You want to talk about automatic. He's 48% from 3 this season. 3rd best in college basketball.
Green grew up in nearby Charlotte. And we mentioned coming off a career high 23 points, and that's a reach-in foul, the 2nd on Avila. They're actually going to mark that against Green as he was coming over as a help defender. And for Green, that will be his first foul.
That's a saving grace. You and I both saw Avila that we thought there was going to be a foul there. Would have been his 2nd.
It's the first time we've ever seen anything incorrect. We are seeing the Trey Green family correctly, though. And Trey Green, you look at his family. His mom ran track at Shaw University in North Carolina. His dad, David Green Jr., was a quarterback at Duke as well. So an athletic crew there. About 20 family members in attendance here for this one. There's Fredrickson. Jones switches on him, goes right by Jones, and the high arcing shot draws another foul. And this one is against Dion Brown. It's Brown's 2nd personal.
Davidson's getting a lot of dribble handoffs, and they're able to curl them. Watch this dribble handoff action. Fredrickson curls, DHO, gets into the paint. That's about the 6th time they've gotten that action in this first half of just catching a curl, catching a DHO, curling it tight, and getting into the paint.
What's interesting, you always talk about attacking the closeout if you catch it on a weak side pass, but when you see St. Louis switching on those dribble handoffs, they're almost attacking the switch man as he comes up to take the ball handler.
Yeah, the switch is happening a pinch late, and I think Coach Schertz will talk about that at halftime. Say, guys, we're not going to stop switching, but we need to switch earlier and up into the gap.
Fredrickson hits both free throws. The lead is back up to 6 with under 6.5 minutes left in this one. Fredrickson pokes it away, and I'll say this again, Mike, from our vantage point, it is clear that Davidson is just a beat quicker to the basketball than St. Louis at this moment.
Which I don't think we could say. We could say this is the first time this season that we've seen St. Louis a step slow.
Brown through the lane, flies and gets the finish with the left.
But that's what you do. That's what they do. It only takes an instant because their spacing and their IQs are so high, they can pick you apart.
Brown off balance, dumps it off. Scovins falling to the floor, somehow loops it in.
Wow. What a play from Scovins.
Green, the catch and fire, no good.
Every time he shoots it, don't you assume it's going in?
Certainly. Up ahead, Scovins snags with one hand. Fredrickson wide open, can't get it. Oh, bringing the house down. Manny Manny Joseph. Brown poked away. Ball is loose. And St. Louis able to scoop it up, and a foul on Joseph.
Effort and energy can make up for a multitude of mistakes, and that's exactly what you're getting from Davidson. And I'm not just talking about the starting five. You've got 10 different players for Davidson who have scored in this game.
Manny Joseph, the sophomore from London, England. The depth we continue to talk about at Davidson. Next man up, you better be ready if you're sitting on the pine for the Wildcats. And all but one player that has stepped on the floor for Davidson with 11 deep has scored in the first half. Jones, the drive, elevates too strong, knocked out of bounds. And now Davidson wants to possibly take a look at this. The players are screaming for a review. The passionate fans behind the bench want a review as well, too. Did that catch Avula's right finger? And we have a second coach's review here in the first half. As Davidson will want to take another look. We'll be back in 30 seconds, hopefully with our results, as Davidson leads by 8. All night doing that. And
yes,
nobody would want to just watch that replay. They want to get back to this terrific basketball game.
100%.
So a loss of a timeout for Davidson, but certainly warranted on that 50-50 call. And now what can St. Louis do with 7 on the shot clock? Jones out in deep waters, a little congestion. Green, pump fake, Green, step back, challenged on the three. Oh, what a shot.
Man.
Are you kidding me? Trey Green, a silencer.
One of the best dribble jump shooters in the nation. Wow. What a
Didn't
bucket.
even touch the rim. Can the Wildcats respond? Fredrickson dumps it off inside. Logan pirouetting. And a fancy finish with the left.
The coaching staff really is high on Sean Logan these last few games.
McCautry, how about the crossover? The footwork. Oh, a thing of beauty.
You want to talk about versatility on that play. Wow.
McCautry now with 9 points, 4 of 4 from the field. Here's Brown, bothered. Scovins, open, look for 3, cashes in.
Davidson can go wherever they want to go in the half courts.
McCautry, the catch, the gather, double team down low, up top. Avula, open 3, misses everything. Brown tries to save it. And the student section letting Avula hear it as he marches to the bench, frustrated with that off-target 3. 3 assists per game. They have 8 already in the first half. St. Louis averages 20 assists a game. The Billikens have just 5. A big reason for that. Robbie Avula averaging over 14 points a game, shooting just 1 of 6 from the field.
This is a St. Louis team that averages 91 points a game. They've got only 33 points with 3 minutes left in the first half.
Scovins fouled on the hook shot. Otieno's going to pick it up. That'll be his first personal. 9th team foul against the Billikens. I think the physicality as well, too. That's one thing that stands out about St. Louis is they're just a bigger physical team than most of their opponents. And Davidson has really brought the physicality right into their lap.
And a lot of times when we think about physicality, we think about post play. And that's true. But I think the guards for Davidson are doing a really good job on the backcourt and wings of St. Louis of not giving them any good looks on the defensive end.
Scovins, the transfer from Army. He was the Patriot League Rookie of the Year. He has now given Davidson their largest lead of the game. Jones reverses it over to Sharma. Offense extended right now for the Billikens. Jones, his drive cut off, elevates, no good. Rebound, fought for, it's Scovins, pulls it away. Brown up ahead in transition. Brown for 3, no good. Scovins another offensive rebound. Brown steps right up, quick trigger, banks it home, baby. Thames down the lane, no good, lips out, Brown the rebound. Davidson maybe should have attacked right there. Instead, they'll slow it down. Scovins again posting up, and this time just turned over by Fredrickson, and a foul in the open floor. Davidson just sitting at 14 fouls prior to that, had one to give. I don't mind that foul at all right there, Mike.
No, I don't. And they tried to go to a post-entry pass, and that was just a great job of getting into the gap and defending that post-entry pass. I think for St. Louis, it's never just one guy, but I'd love to see Sharma get something for St. Louis. I think he is such an important key for the Billikens, an underrated piece because of his ability to shoot the three and attack the rim.
He is scoreless, just 0 for 1. The Billikens shooting 46% from the field. McContry the drive, oh, just eliminated out of bounds. Had a beat on it, Sean Logan.
Watch the recovery from Sean Logan. That is about as good as it gets for timing up that block. Wow.
And then the deflection on the inbounds by Scovins. The ball pressure is contagious here.
Coach McKillop raved about Sean Logan talking with us yesterday. He said his defense is drastically improving, and it is helping us every single day.
Well, Logan's finally healthy. He missed so much of last year with that knee injury, and his timing and instincts. He has been the defensive anchor for this deep Davidson team.
Zone for Davidson.
Thames in the paint. Avila, the handoff to Green. Brown racing to cover him. Green fading away. Tough shot, no good. Sam Brown just wants to be collected down the floor. Logan inside. McContry defending. Logan trying to pivot, spills out of bounds, knocked loose by McContry. Keep in mind, St. Louis has the 4th longest win streak in the nation. The Billikens at 21-1 arguably should be undefeated. It took a miracle by Stanford at the end of that game to beat him at the buzzer. And right now they trail by 13 on the road to Davidson.
That loss to Stanford was one of the wildest finishes in college basketball.
And so the officials are going to change this call. This is off of Davidson. McContry.
Oh, yeah, that's St. Louis basketball. That's absolutely the correct call. Good replay by our crew.
Sharma had no room on the catch. Sharma again. Logan with the aggressive closeout. McContry pump fake. Look at the Wildcats just flying out to the perimeter every time. Shot clock 7. Sharma trying to shake him. Step back 3. Green comes in. Whoa. Bodies 2 defenders. Oh, it's Logan again. Man. Just erases it.
The Wolverine.
Logan now moves into 3rd all-time, his 121st block. Logan dumps it off, poked away by Sharma, the quick defensive rotation.
You want to talk about staying connected, close out, high hands. They give up the offensive rebound. Look at Logan, hands up, immediately turn to deflect that. What a block and individual hustle play from Logan.
Blooms, the catch, the shot, knocked to the floor, no whistle. McContry with the rebound. That's his 5th. Can St. Louis string together some makes? Yep. Sharma hits the triple, much needed for the Billikens.
That's the X factor for St. Louis. Big fan of watching Sharma on film.
Cuts the lead to 10, under a minute left.
DHO.
Brown, catch and shoot, can't get it. McContry. Rebound number 6.
But a step late on that dribble handoff defense, Jordan.
I imagine they will adjust that in the locker room at halftime. Avila lumbering his way to the cup, picks up the foul on Logan. Great job shielding himself with his body. Sean Logan picking up his first foul of the game, has 2 blocks already. And Robbie Avila will head to the line. 79% free throw shooter, try and make this a single-digit lead here for Davidson. I've got to ask you something. 43.2 seconds remaining. We've seen Davidson step on the gas. Do they treat this as a possible 2-for-1 opportunity, or is it best shot down the floor?
Because of the way that Davidson plays from a tempo perspective, they're one of the slowest tempos in college basketball. Very, very slow. 343rd in the nation. I don't think they're a team that likes to go 2-for-1, especially with a Davidson team that lives in the fast break. You can't make a mistake here. Fast break that's not been their cup of tea in this first half.
And here comes the full court press from St. Louis. Dunlap back into the game for the Billikens. As you know, he's a sharp shooter. Brown checks back in also. Sam Brown defended by Dion Brown. Sam Brown turns the corner, blocked by Dion Brown. Here comes Dunlap in transition. Sharma from the handoff puts on the brakes. 15 seconds left. St. Louis can slow it down here if they want. Avila coolly collects himself. 7 to shoot. Dunlap catch, shoot from the corner. Oh, knocks down a huge 3. One more look for Davidson. Roberts. And St. Louis uses a 7-0 run to close out the first half.
Good St. Louis is. They are one of the best teams in the country at going on big runs. They do a three-point shooting and their fast break offense. You better be ready for transition defense if you're Davidson.
Most teams in this situation, when they're punching above their weight class, you wonder, do they have the endurance to consistently play that way in the second half? The way that Davidson's built with their depth, they've got a lot of bodies to throw at St. Louis here.
But if St. Louis happens to go on a run, which it's very likely they will because that's how good they are, if they go on an 8-0 run or a 10-0 run, you don't run your offense to get a 10-0 run back. You've got to still keep it simple if you're Davidson. You can't rush back into it.
St. Louis has won 15 straight games. Green chucks a pass back. Brown the drive against Scovins, tries to scoop it with one hand. Avila, offensive rebound, nearly dribbled it off his foot. Jones back to Avila. That ball trickling near midcourt. Avila controls the dribble. A little helter-skelter here. Green playing with it. Fadeaway corner 3 right in front of his mama. The Charlotte native with 20 family members in attendance right behind the bench makes it a 2-point game.
Is he not one of the best tough shot makers in the backcourt in the Atlantic 10? Wow.
And frustrating for Davidson. You play great defense for about 25 seconds. Here's Fredrickson. No good. Avila, the rebound. St. Louis can tie or take the lead here. Here's Brown trying to craft his way to the cup. Jones picks up the foul. He comes crashing in. That's his 3rd personal.
There is no player in college basketball that is better at hitting threes off the dribble than Trey Green. That is not a hot take. Statistically, he is #1 in the nation in dribble jump shot shooting efficiency. He's got a 68% effective field goal percentage. Jordan, that is literally as good as it gets off the bounce.
Played just 9 games at Xavier last year before taking a medical red shirt. A foul on St. Louis. This one whistled against Brown, his 2nd personal. But they mentioned when they build this roster for St. Louis, they want players that can pass, dribble, shoot, arguably the tallest at their position if they can. But they love the fact that Green was just such a hard worker. They didn't expect him to be such a great defender once he got in the door, but he's really stepped it up on that end of the floor.
But you also have an elite category with that, and that's 3-point shooting. So you make an exception from a height perspective.
Scovins, he was tough and physical in the first half, gets the ricochet, puts it right back in.
That's 13 for Josh Scovins. He has had himself a fantastic evening.
He's been in double figures now for 7 straight games and a foul. You saw McCottry drop the dime.
Yeah, McCottry can really do everything. You know, he's a capable 3-point shooter, so good at attacking the rim, excellent defender, but that is not an easy pass to make at 6'6".
Foul's on Sam Brown, his 1st personal. Fredrickson tried to shoot the gap. Gamble doesn't pay off. Dion Brown, the easy 2 down low.
Your phrase says it all. If you're going to gamble against St. Louis, you can't lose. And on that possession, Davidson lost.
Plateo picks up the dribble, gets it poked away into the hands of Sam Brown. Plateo, the drive.
What?
Oh, he cradled it with one hand.
Are you kidding me?
Did not know he had that in the bag. All 11 players have now scored for Davidson. Avila, his three, no good. His tough shooting night continues. He's now 1 for 7 from the field. This burst that St. Louis is trying to give out the gate, how well can Davidson handle the first 4 minutes of this half? Scovins again muscling his way down low, scooping somehow, finds the angle. He's up to 15.
Davidson has found something with Scovins. They like him getting in the ball in the mid-post area.
The former Army cadet showing some toughness. Avila this time. Nice little finish with the left off the glass.
He's just so smart. You know, he turns down the three, not making shots. He knows that his pace in the paint is enough to draw a foul.
Devin Brown, the continuation for the youngster, picks up the foul. He'll head to the line for one more. And that is the 4th foul on Quinton Jones. Picked up 2 quick ones in the first half.
Freshman with a little hezzy. You see, he puts it in his right hand, kind of fakes a crossover with that hezzy move. Gets downhill. Jordan, I got to tell you, the freshmen for Davidson have been very good in this game.
So Devin Brown comes from arguably one of my favorite names for a high school, Olentangy Orange in Ohio. Can't get the free throw, though.
He was Ohio's Division I Player of the Year and won a state championship.
Oh, what a pass. Brown the catch. Oh, just stitched it through 2 defenders.
And guess who? That was McCautry. That was with a left hand.
McCautry, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 points. Brown to Brown. The law firm continues to deliver. Davidson now 8 of 16, good for 50% from beyond the arc. Dunlap, he's a flamethrower from outside. Avila, the catch. Oh, look at the patience. Somehow lost the orange, knocked out of bounds. St. Louis ball.
McCautry with about as good of a pocket pass as you'll find. And then Brown to Brown, as you said, the law firm getting it done.
Green whips it over. Dion Brown creates a little separation, has the speed advantage over Plateo. McCautry rises up, takes the contact. He'll get a chance for one more. McCautry doing a little bit of everything for St. Louis at this moment.
St. Louis is as good as anybody in the country. On drives, you'll have a weak side cut. It's called a 45 cut. It is integral to St. Louis's offense. If a drive happens on the right side of the floor, a cut to the paint area will happen from the left side of the floor.
Completes the 3-point play. Makes it a 4-point lead for Davidson. St. Louis still staying within an arm's reach of the Wildcats. Davidson continues to fend them off here at home. Fredrickson, the drive, the reversal. Look at the leather move around the perimeter. Brown can't get it. And McCautry once again secures the board. Dunlap quickly closed out on by Scovins. A little bit of contact, no whistle. Avila, nice find. Dunlap, his 3, rolls in. We've got a 1-point game in Davidson.
Yeah, Dunlap is hot. That's his 3rd 3. You could feel it on that release. It is quick.
Great find by Avila, the best passing center in Division I basketball.
I absolutely co-sign that.
Devin Brown lost it. St. Louis can take the lead on this possession. Dion Brown flips it over to Dunlap. No hesitation.
Hello.
Oh, call a timeout.
Hello.
And call the fire department. Dunlap puffs out his chest and gives St. Louis the... Davidson, meanwhile, trying to climb up the ladder and get the upset. But right now, Brady Dunlap has just been going crazy. Here in the second half, he's perfect on the night, 4 of 4 with 14 points. He was scoreless over the last 2 games, Mike O'Donnell.
Well, he's a transfer from St. John's. He averaged just under 6 a game. But he's 10th in the Atlantic 10 in 3-point shooting. Just over 41% from 3. St. Louis has 4 players inside the top 10 of three-point shooting in the Atlantic 10. That is absolutely wild.
Foul on Deion Brown, his 3rd personal, so we'll step aside once again. Billikens have the lead, but Davidson not showing any signs of backing down.
You know, I've always found it strange. People really want to save money, but are so willing to...
In BYU game, that's going to be a movie. When you want to talk about that defense of Houston suffocating versus that offense for BYU, one of the best in the country. How will Houston game plan for A.J. Davidson? It's going to be awesome.
Davidson last beat a ranked team at home in 2018. It was then number 17 ranked Rhode Island. Matt McKillop is 0-16 in quad 1 games over his last 4 years as head coach. Right now they trail by 2. They've shown plenty of fight, but St. Louis has clawed back into this one, riding a 9-0 run at the moment. Scovins down low against Otieno. Scovins gets a position. He can't flip it in. Dies on the rim.
They like that, though. They've been isolating Scovins intentionally in the second half.
Thames, Otieno, and Sharma on the floor right now. The bench unit for St. Louis still very productive.
Avila likes that matchup.
Avila, nice find down low. Thames climbs the ladder. It's now an 11-0 St. Louis run. They lead by 4.
That's the first kill shot for St. Louis in this game. Kill shot's a 10-0 run. That's what coaches love to chart.
You knew a run was coming from St. Louis. In and out for Sam Brown. It feels like Davidson's just begging for a bucket right now. Thames, his drive. He crashes into the stanchion. He's fouled. And Scovin wants to rally the troops and get them on the same page.
Sometimes for St. Louis, the post is a passing hub, especially with Avila, who's one of the best passers in college basketball. That weak side cut is perfect, and the dime is even better. Smart cut for Thames.
Avila with 5 assists in this game, and even though he's not scoring, we talk about the invisible things that Josh Schertz has highlighted with this St. Louis team. There's so many plays that he feels leads to a win on a possession that don't show up in the stat sheet.
So the bucket shows up in the stat sheet and the assist does. However, the spacing doesn't, number one, and then the recognition by Thames to cut at the right time. It's not something, the cut doesn't show up in the stat sheet. The bucket does. We just talk about how that spacing and the importance of what you do when you space. You scan for an opportunity to make a play.
Thames splits a pair. And the lead is now 5 for St. Louis. It's their largest lead of the evening. Blooms into the game right now for Davidson, leading scorer off the bench. Logan has it poked away, dives on the floor. Koval for 3. Still no good. Davidson can't buy a bucket.
Shots are a little short. Legs might be getting a little tired.
Meanwhile, it looks like St. Louis is picking up even more energy each trip down the floor. Thames spinning, dishing it off. Otieno 1-2 step. He is fouled from behind. And they're going to get Logan on the foul. That is Logan's second personal, and it'll send Otieno to the line.
And guess what that was for St. Louis? We talked about it earlier. A drive from the right side, a cut from the left side. If there's going to be a drive happening on the right side of the floor for St. Louis, there will be someone on the weak side that's going to cut to the rim. Davidson has to be prepared for that on help side defense.
Paul Otieno, the transfer from Quinnipiac, and Josh Schertz said, listen, he kicked our tails last year when we played him, and when he entered the transfer portal, we knew we wanted his toughness on our St. Louis team. He really sets the tone for the physical play down low.
Well, additionally, while setting the tone in physical play, he can guard 1 through 5 positions, and that's what makes him so valuable to this Billikens defense.
Davidson's last field goal came at the 16:50 mark. Since then, 0 for 4 with 1 turnover. They would love to end this drought, try to recapture some of that offensive momentum they had in the first half.
Small but great switch by Sharma.
Koval down low, can't do anything with it. Logan on the perimeter. Here's the 3 from Adam, too strong. Rebound Dunlap. Now 0 for 5 since their last bucket. Otieno, the handoff. Dunlap, he's hunting. Dunlap, oh, he can't miss. The lead extended for St. Louis, a 16-0 run. Dunlap, 17 points, 5 of 5 from the field, 3 shy of his career high. Nice cut down low. Adam, a little show and go, and gets a much-needed bucket.
They needed that one. A good job of catching off of 2 feet by Adam. Good patience. Can you weather the storm? You knew that St. Louis was going to go on a run.
Green trying to bury them, flips it over to Sharma. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Thames looking for some spacing. Trying to set up the handoff to Sharma. Quickly defended. Back cut by Thames. Tries to go high off the glass. In and out. Otieno fights for the offensive rebound and picks up the foul. What a critical possession. Timeout on the floor. Dunlap so far continues to be dialed in.
Brady Dunlap hasn't missed a shot. 5 of 5 from 3. The dude is hotter than concrete feet in the summer heat.
Number 11 as Klay Thompson, as St. Louis trailed by 5 at half, now building a 7-point lead. As we mentioned, Dunlap perfect from the field, 17 points, 5 of 5. What do you see here on this baseline out of bounds?
Look at this really interesting spacing for St. Louis.
Sharma gets it in. And a turnover. Dunlap was trying to reverse it. Couldn't get enough mustard on it. So Davidson, they ended their scoring drought. Can they find a little bit more consistency offensively? Blooms the drive, and he is fouled by Sharma. That is going to be the second foul on Sharma. One thing I'm noticing in this second half, Mike, you aren't seeing Davidson win on dribble drives from the perimeter like they did in the first half.
You beat me to it. You're 100% correct. But on that possession, they drew a foul because they got a paint touch. They got one drive on a kick, and then on the kick, you get another drive, and you draw a foul.
They shot 8 free throws in the first half, just 1 so far. Fredrickson, long 3, Otieno with the rebound.
I like that action. Oh, that was Page action. The back screen into dribble handoff. Good execution, just didn't go in.
Davidson 1 for 6 from 3 in the second half. They were 7 of 15 in the first half. Green puts on the brakes, reverses, and he's got a short game also.
Uh-oh, here we go.
And then the steal. Thames in the open floor. Back-to-back buckets for the Billikens, and they have built an 11-point lead. Oh, and Thames almost got his hands in the cookie jar once more, but he is whistled for the foul. That'll be his first personal.
St. Louis is just so good at what I like to call snowballing down a hill. You 1 bucket, 1 steal, and all of a sudden it snowballs in their favor, and they can just extend these runs.
I think you talked to the citizens of Davidson. They're tired of the snow over the weekend.
I did not do that intentionally, and I should have, but that's why you're smarter than me.
I guess that's saying much. Here's Brown. Stuck, picks up the dribble. Brown, pocket pass inside. Logan rising up, too strong. Rips away his own rebound. Puts it in, picks up the foul.
I just really like how hard Sean Logan has been playing in this game. The more he plays off of 2 feet in the paint and makes quick decisions, the more successful he's going to be in the low post.
Logan 6 points, 2 blocks. That's the second foul on Otieno. So Logan getting a chance to head to the free throw line once again for the Wildcats. Manny Joseph will check in for Koval. So defensively, after this free throw for Davidson, any adjustments you see from them? Because St. Louis has nearly equaled their first half scoring already.
Well, I think it'll be a conversation of, are we going to see the zone at all? Oh, excuse me. Now we see it. 1-3-1 zone for Davidson.
We saw St. Louis slow down with this. As you mentioned, their efficiency against the zone, nothing like their efficiency against man. Dunlap, the drive. Dunlap deflected on his pass. Ball cascades out of bounds. 12 seconds to shoot for the Billikens.
The one Achilles heel for the St. Louis offense is their zone offense. It's not bad, but it's just slightly above average in terms of efficiency according to Synergy Sports.
Avila, long pass caught by Green. 8 to shoot. Sharma, crossover, and that is a kick ball. Joseph. Foot gets in the way. That'll reset the shot clock also to 20.
I'd stay in that zone. They're going to go to man now, but I like that 1-3-1 zone.
Wildcats back in man. Avila looking for the handoff. Dunlap catches it. He has got daylight.
No
way. Pouring it on. 6 of 6 from the field. All of them 3-pointers. And he has tied his career high with 20 points. Blooms the drive. Fouled as he gathers.
Wow. Brady Dunlap is hotter than the fires of Mount Doom right now. 6 of 7 from 3. Look at his feet. Energy transfer. Straight up, straight down. Man, that release is pure. You could hang that in the Louvre.
Scoreless in the last 2 games and has completely awoken here tonight. We'll catch this Davidson squad back in action as they take on Loyola Chicago in another A-10 showdown Friday at 6 Eastern right here on CBS Sports Network. Our good friend Chris Lewis will have the call for that one. He's in the stands checking the Wildcats out here today. And
that's a true pro. You're
that is
coming
a
to
true
scout it out.
Pros pro right there.
Chris is the best.
11-point lead for St. Louis at the moment. McCoughtry back into the game. Avila, the pump fake, puts it on the deck.
So smart. He's just so smart.
Uses that body so well against Logan to shield himself. And that's a 3rd foul on Logan.
This is not a knock on Avila because he's talked about it before. He's very self-aware. Robbie Avila is 6'10". He has no dunks this season. 0. He's not trying to beat you with physicality, athleticism. He's beating you with his mind and his anticipation, and he plays angles exceptionally well.
He had a chance to go to a variety of programs that would have rewarded him handsomely, let's just say. He has stuck by Coach Schertz all 4 years of his career. Was with him at Indiana State, where they had an incredible campaign. They missed out on the NCAA tournament, but made it to the NIT finals. He said, I trust the plan he has for me. And really his unselfishness as the leader on this team has set the tone for everybody else to follow suit.
Coach Schertz said it was literally a 5-minute conversation. Hey, this is what I'd like to do for you this season. And Robbie Avila says, yeah, sounds good. Let's go.
A coach's dream. 5 to shoot. Blooms, catch and rise. He knocks down the 3.
First made 3 of the game for Roberts Blooms.
Blooms a 43% shooter from outside. And a foul on the dribble, this one against J.Q. Roberts. It's the first on Roberts. It's the 7th team foul of the half, though. We talked in the first half how it felt like Davidson was a step faster than St. Louis. I think it's clear in the second half that the Billikens have been the ones a beat faster.
We were talking at halftime, just off air. It felt like Davidson should have been up like 14, but they were only up 5. That's how talented St. Louis is. They can have a bad game and still be within striking distance. Excuse me, it's really just a subpar first half by St. Louis standards.
Blooms quickly doubled on the block, flips it over. Roberts takes the contact and able to finesse it in. Davidson has made it a 7-point lead now for St. Louis. Avila. McCoughtry back to Sharma. 9 to shoot for Dunlap. McCautry, the drive, the take to the cup. Snakes it in.
That's one of those invisible plays. That cut by McCautry, the spacing wasn't good. The ball was sticky. It couldn't get any movement, but that cut saved the possession for St. Louis.
Hunter Adam carving out some prime real estate down low. He's fouled by McCautry. It's the third one on McCautry. But the game so far from McCautry filling up the box score. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and plays like this to keep St. Louis in front. BCU, their only loss was to Stanford, a game in which St. Louis led by 3, fouled up 3. Stanford hits the first free throw, misses the second, and they hit a 3 at the horn to win it. The only knock on St. Louis is they haven't played the strongest schedule this season. So what do you make of St. Louis in the national picture, having seen them this season?
Well, they certainly deserve to be in the conversation as an at-large bid. And you can talk about the schedule, and I understand that. But they still have 2 quad 1 wins. We'll talk about St. Mary's in the national conversation all the time. St. Mary's doesn't have a single quad 1 win this season. St. Louis has 2.
7-point lead after the 2 free throws are good for Hunter Adam. Dion Brown, the drive, walled off by Roberts. Avila trying to post up. Inside, Sharma, the catch. Back outside, Brown, shot clock winding down. Oh, threads a pass to Avila for an easy 2.
You have to have a great internal clock to make that pass, and then Avila knows he has to shoot it as quick as he can.
Brown puts on the brakes. Bloom's well chased by Dunlap.
And you see how quickly that Avila has to shoot that. And I just would like to say that I would love to see Robbie Avila in the NCAA tournaments. I think March Madness needs him in the tournament.
He is the personification of everything that is wonderful about this beautiful sport of college basketball. He has bided his time. He's been a loyalist and just a joy to watch from a basketball perspective. The way he plays the game, his unselfishness, his leadership. And right now the Billikens, second longest winning streak in school history. You have to go back to 2013 and 14. This team was ranked as high as number 10. They won 19 straight games that year.
There's a lot of time left in this game, and there's a lot of season left. But could you imagine having to prepare for St. Louis on a neutral site floor? Oh, my.
Davidson, though, wants to crash the party. Still a 7-point lead, under 7 minutes left to go. Green, catch and fire, 3, no good. Rebound, ripped away by Dunlap. He can do more than shoot, folks. Fredrickson denies the entry pass, calls timeout as he's falling out of bounds. Heads up play, that'll give Davidson a much needed possession. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Davidson ball when we return.
Old Trapper Beefs. Pack smash.
My peanut butter and jelly.
Ew.
Oh no.
The ball great to start the game, but about 5 minutes left in the first half. They've really found their rhythm from outside. They are 12 of 24 from 3 on the evening.
I don't think it's any secret that their offense came from their defense. They were able to turn up the dial a little bit, and they've been much more dialed in the second half.
Concerted effort from St. Louis to front. Scovins on the block. Fredrickson fading away. Too strong. Ball popcorns free into the hands of St. Louis. Avila trailing. He's a maestro with the ball. Looking for a backdoor cut. Well defended from Davidson. Sharma using the body of Avila to try and get open. Green on an island. 8 to shoot. Green. Out to Avila. His 3. No good. Green chases down the rebound. And that's going to be a travel by Green. He kind of got caught with a little indecision.
He jumped up in the air, thinking that he was going to be able to pass it, didn't see anything, and he tried to put the dribble down. And you see him try to put the dribble down as he's up in the air. Can't do that.
And a near collision, bit of a miscommunication from Davidson. That would have been a costly turnover.
Looked like it could have been a double dribble.
Blooms the drive. Picks up his dribble on the block. Tough shot fading away. Rolls out. Rebound to Brown. Some of the shot selection for Davidson hasn't been as great as it's been in the first half.
2 fadeaways in a row.
Jones back on the floor with 4 fouls, and he is fouled. If this is against Logan, that'll be his 4th.
Are we going to see that 1-3-1 zone again? To me, in the second half, that has been the most successful defense for Davidson.
Officials haven't signaled who the foul's on yet. And again, this is huge because Logan has 3 fouls at the moment. If they whistle it against him, he was 1 of 2 players in on that play. It is on Logan. That's his 4th personal now. So here comes the substitution. And Devin Brown will come in for Sam Brown, which means Logan will stay on the floor with 4 fouls. If you're St. Louis, you know exactly who to go at.
It's called hunting. And you need to hunt the player who's in foul trouble. And that would be Sean Logan.
So they changed the foul to Blooms, actually.
Oh, wow.
So they changed the foul to Blooms. That'll be just his 1st personal. And that obviously changes the scope of how you'll now play Sean Logan in this game.
No question.
Leads back up to 9 for St. Louis. They've won 15 straight, looking for their 16th consecutive win of the season. Brown, well defended by Dion Brown on the perimeter. Loses the ball, turns it over into the hands of Avila. That's just excellent one-on-one on-ball defense.
And once you get in the paint, you've got to make a quick decision. You can't wait.
This game,
tough cross.
Jones the drive, rising up, no whistle. Scovins tries to throw it off McCautry. And able to successfully rebound it off his knee. You know, the game's kind of bogged down a little bit here, Mike. We've lost that free flow that we saw in the first half, and now things getting chunked up a little bit with fouls and free throws, and this pace has slowed down.
Oh, these are 2 teams that have been playing incredibly hard all game long, and we've got maybe some tired legs.
2 deep rosters. Davidson has played 11 players in this game. St. Louis with their 9-man rotation. Fredrickson, pump fake. Thought about the 2. Here's Scovins. He's been living at this spot all night long. Scovins pivoting once again. Able to drop it in and picks up the foul, and that is the 4th foul on McCautry. So McCautry and Jones each with 4 fouls now for St. Louis.
They've been going to him in that mid-post area, right around 12, 13 feet from the rim, and just letting him operate. Essentially ISO down there.
Misses the free throw, and now if you're Davidson, you can look to attack Jones or McCautry in that spot if you can. 7-point lead, just over 4 minutes left for St. Louis. Avila picks up the dribble. He'll cast a 3. No good. Rebound to Devin Brown. Fredrickson ushers it down the floor. And Scovins already trying to get positioning on that block. Blooms for 3. In and out. No good. Dion Brown able to chase it down.
That was halfway down and out.
Davidson just 2 of 8 from 3 in the second half.
He's
and
so
Avila
He's so
shrugs
good.
the shoulders, somehow sneaks it in. And he'll go to the line for a chance to add 1 more. Timeout on the floor. Robbie Avila. What can he do on the floor? The big fella. He's got an effective field goal percentage offensively and defensively. Now, credit Davidson. They've shot 47% from the field. But the one thing I want to point out is Avila goes to the line here to try and complete the 3-point play. it still feels like St. Louis is cutting off so many more drives in this second half that Davidson was getting action on in the first half.
We've seen 3 or 4 possessions of the guards for Davidson taking fadeaway 12-footers. And that is not the type of high percentage shots that Coach McKillop wants.
Lead is now 10 for St. Louis, and they get their hands on another ball and force the 8th turnover for Davidson. And McCautry and Jones, these big guards for St. Louis, just creating mayhem in the paint right now. Jones, the drive, and draws the foul on Logan. And that is personal foul number 4 on Sean Logan. That 1-2 punch of Jones and McCautry is just something else for any team to deal with. Their energy and their versatility, not too many teams can match that.
Yeah, Quentin Jones, transfer from Northern Illinois. He's a, what I like to call, he's a rangy ball handler. He's got that great length, but that quick bounce off the dribble. I think he's one of the best combo guards in the Atlantic 10. I mean, he just does so many things well. He averages about 10 a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And there's also like 2 or 3 other guys very close to like Jones as well on St. Louis. The depth and unselfishness of this team is very impressive.
We have Kellen Thames, who's from St. Louis, who would start for probably 80% of the teams in college basketball. He gives you 10 points off the bench, 5 rebounds, 2 assists.
And a similar player, like you also have Amari McCautry.
Blooms blocked by Jones to the corner. Fredrickson, he's able to knock down the 3. Davidson now 3 of 9 from outside in the second half. Still a big hill to climb with just under 3 minutes left over the Wildcats. St. Louis closing in on their 16th consecutive win. Jones back to Avila. Avila tied up, poked away. Davidson with the steal. Fredrickson thought about it, puts it on the floor, leans into it, and able to put it in. 5 straight points for Fredrickson. Crowd gets on their feet. Davidson looking for one more stop. Avila lumbering his way to the cup. Are you kidding me?
Unbelievable shot.
Just muscles anybody out of his way. Fredrickson skipping around, picks up the foul. He'll go to the line. This one's against Jones. If it is, that's his 5th foul, and his night is done.
Could you even recreate this again? Most players can't. That's almost a normal shot for Robbie Avila. That's the way he plays. It may look awkward, but he's still under control.
10 points in the second half for Avila, as Josh Schertz will take this momentary pause in action.
They have 3 timeouts left, and a sign of a really good team is, can you fix your offense and your defense without having to stop the clock, go to the bench, reset the entire thing, because of their depth and because of the way that they've committed to, fixing their bad spacing with one cut or fixing a bad defensive rotation with extra help on the weak side. That's the sign of a really good team. Josh Schertz doesn't need timeouts to reset anything.
It's something they've also worked on in the summer. He feels this group of players can adapt to anything that's thrown their way, any curveball, as Manny Joseph will check in for Blooms. And some of the coaches for St. Louis have had other coaches say, hey, I picked up this offensive set you ran. He said, my players were just playing ball. They just saw what the defense gave us, and we just made a play.
It's interesting, in June and July, he didn't put any plays in. And you've got to be prepared to do 2 things simultaneously, which is hard. You've got to turn up the ball pressure without fouling. A lot easier said than done.
We saw Coach McKillop give Joseph some instructions as he subbed him in for this full court press. St. Louis able to break the press. Avila up ahead to Sharma. And now Davidson's just fighting the clock at this point. 14 to shoot. Green to Avila. Avila pivoting. Nice find. Sharma will go ahead and back it out. 4 to shoot. Sharma back from Dunlap. Lets it go. Rebound to Avila.
Now you got a foul.
Then a foul on the sideline. They're going to get Scovins. Scovins felt that Dunlap tripped.
I actually think that may have been a little premature by me. I don't think you needed a foul just yet, because especially if you had a trapping situation, you'd like to try to hold that.
It's the 3rd foul on Scovins, and it sends Dunlap to the line, who's an 82% free throw shooter. And Dunlap here a chance to establish a new career high. He has been electric this evening. Scoreless over the last 2 games. 6 of 6 from beyond the arc. Has only missed 1 shot this entire evening. Sitting at 20 points right now, was really the catalyst for St. Louis in the second half to take the lead.
I mean, and you've got all your best free throw shooters on the floor right now. Dunlap's 82%. Sharma's 83%. Avila's almost 80%. Trey Green's 80%. I mean, Coach Church knows what he's doing.
In his 2nd season at St. Louis, had 3 seasons at Indiana State, led the Sycamores to that 32-7 record where many people felt they should have gotten an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. But before Indiana State, he was at Division II Lincoln Memorial in Tennessee for 13 years, and that was a team that went to the postseason 10 times, made it to the championship game once, where he amassed an 83% winning percentage. So the man knows ball, and it was great the other day to get the victory over Dayton, and he's treating people to refreshments in the local establishment afterwards, and just wants to have fun, wants his players to have fun, but also execute at a high level. Here's Brown. He's bumped. That's going to be foul number 4 against Dion Brown. 1:08 left. St. Louis leading by 9. For those of you tuning in for the Wyoming-San Diego State game, you'll be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it tips off. And, of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game. First free throw is good for Sam Brown. His dad, Brett Brown, coached the Sixers during the Trust the Process years. Brett Brown now with the Spurs, and had a great coaching career.
So you got offense, defense, substitution for Davidson. And if you're Davidson, you're thinking full court press. Can you get it to the corner? Quick trap. Don't have to foul just yet. Quick trap and see if you can get a deflection or steal or a 5-second count.
7-point lead for St. Louis. They have Joseph on the ball. They get it to Avila. Avila just always under control. Dumps it off to Green. Cross-court find. Dunlap skies for it. Caught it amongst traffic, and now they're going to chase him down. They're going to try and trap, and a timeout is called by St. Louis as Dunlap was falling out of bounds. You pointed out plenty of timeouts to spare for the Billikens.
Plenty of timeouts to spare. I think that could have been a foul call as well. A dangerous pass, almost a steal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a push, and then you're leaning on. I mean, yeah, that's absolutely should have been a foul.
The Wyoming-San Diego State game is underway and now available streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN. We'll get you out there as soon as this one is over. So for St. Louis, what are you thinking here? You're up 7. You're just trying to salt this game away and make sure you protect the basketball.
Well, I think we first need to say what Davidson needs to do defensively. I mean, this is switch all 5 time for Davidson. And you're not necessarily going for a steal. You're just trying to make it very uncomfortable.
You've got 5 similar-sized players on the floor for Davidson. We'll see if they switch all the screens. They somewhat do. It's Sharma who catches it in the backcourt. And right now, Fredrickson not going to foul quite yet. Shot clock's at 15. Then they go in for the foul.
He was trying to.
Sharma to the line, the 83% free throw shooter.
My apologies there, Jordan. He was trying to on Sharma as soon as Sharma crossed the half-court line. But it's got to be obvious. It's one of those small things. Like, you can't just, bump briefly.
So Sharma will step up, hits the first free throw. Sharma with 4 points on the evening. And you talk about capable scorers at any point. Keep in mind, Sharma tied a school record with 9 made threes against St. Bonaventure earlier this year. Davidson's got to score quick here. Brown sprinting down the floor. The handoff. Blooms quickly met by Sharma. Blooms rises. His three. No good. Scovins the rebound. Brown pump fake. Step back. His triple. No good. Rebound. Dion Brown in the corner. Stolen by Blooms, but he was on the end line. That'll be St. Louis ball with 32.7 seconds remaining.
That's 2 decent looks from 3 for Davidson, though. That's pretty good execution. A great hustle grabbing that offensive rebound.
Well, the difference for Davidson was the three-point shooting in the second half. First half, 7 of 15. Second half, 3 of 12. And credit St. Louis. They've shot the ball well. 44% from 3.
Yeah, if St. Louis is making more than 10 threes in a game, you're in for a very difficult night. And how about the offensive explosion in the second half? They averaged 91 a game.
You were wondering if that was going to be in jeopardy earlier in the first half. Timeout called by Dunlap. That's the final timeout of the game. Correction, 1 more left for St. Louis. And let's send it to Brent Stover in New York for an update. Brent, what do you got for us?
Jordan and Mike, the Wyoming-San Diego State game underway.
Switch that, but switch up into the player to go to denial to try to get a deflection or steal.
It's such a good point. A lot of times, if you get lazy on the switch, it doesn't even matter. You're leaving a split second for the offensive player to get open. So
that's right.
Here's Adam in full denial position on Avila. They switch the screen. Dunlap gets it in. Dion Brown comes to be the outlet. Flips a pass. It's turned over. 28.7 remaining. Davidson ball on the sideline.
That's a gift to Davidson. Not just a turnover, but they were trying to foul Brown, and they didn't call it. Wow.
Well, and you adjust how you play. The officials have been letting them be a little physical down the stretch here in those.
Those are 2 big missed foul calls, though, Jordan. I'm a certified 5th grade referee. I know my stuff.
And I'm sure the parents have never said anything to you before.
No, of course not.
So Davidson will need a quick hitter here. They trail by 9. Brown curling, catching, no good on the 2. Avila with the rebound, and all they can do is foul him. And how about Avila? His game, 17 points. 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, just doing what he does. The steady force for this St. Louis team. It was a slow start in the first half for the Billikens, but they came roaring back, especially those first 8 minutes of the second half.
He struggled in the first half, and I think he had a masterful second half. He was very patient, really good on the defensive end of the floor, and actually, he's played just over 30 minutes this game. He usually only plays about 25 minutes this season.
The fact that he was able just to get to the free throw line so many times tonight. 17 points on just 5 of 14 shooting. Blooms trying to create a little bit of space. Well defended by Dunlap. Scovins. And a timeout called by Davidson. It's their final timeout with 12.3 seconds remaining.
Lewis was able to play more free in the second half. And their cutting, their spacing was just so much better in the second half than it was the first half.
Brown to inbound, gets it back from Scovins. Long 3 off the front of the rim. Sam Brown, his shot, no good. Rebound to Dion Brown. And that should do it. The streak continues for St. Louis. It's 16 wins in a row. They're led by Dunlap, 22 points, 6 of 6 shooting from outside.